This is CBS.
A monster hunt on Lake Champlain is leading underwater explorers to a wealth of new shipwrecks. They brought in side-scan sonar and robot cameras, and in the black depths of Lake Champlain, they found ships so well preserved that each trip down is like a journey to the past. Tom Grant reports.
Here we go. Patxi Pastor first came to Lake Champlain on a monster hunt. He had joined a group looking for Champ, the legendary serpent. But the side-scan sonar turned up a legend of another sort, a shipwreck.
Shipwrecks themselves were so spectacular and so emotionally moving for us as divers and visitors, these explorers, to see these things for possibly the first time in 100 years a human being had been on the vessels.
Lake Champlain is 400 feet deep. Temperatures below the thermocline run in the low 40s. Nothing down there eats at the wood and the textiles. When Pastor dove, he found wrecks unlike anything he'd seen in a warm and salty ocean.
As you go down deeper, it's kind of these big windows that open up. And to finally land on the vessel, you don't really see a clear picture of it until you're 4 or 5 feet away. As that wreck opens up and you start to get a real visible context by which you can get any perception of the length of the ship and the condition of it, it never ceases to amaze me, this incredible rush up the spine.
Moments from 3 wars and centuries of commerce have been lost and frozen in time beneath Lake Champlain. The most famous of those moments is still lost. A moment from the Revolutionary War when Benedict Arnold fled from the British and scuttled one of his gondolas.
Half of the excitement is you never know what you'll find, to the bones, to the artifacts, to any types of clues indicating why it sank, what it was carrying.
These dives are dives into that past.
It's, again, a picture of time. 100 years has been capsulized and placed into a situation where you can not only visit the wreck, but feel like you are traveling back into time. And
this is a horse-powered ferry, probably the only relic of its kind left in the world. It sunk in the mid-1800s. 2 horses would walk on a treadmill, driving the gears that turned the paddle wheels. But those fragile arms make this one of Lake Champlain's most sensitive wrecks. A dropped anchor could destroy parts of it.
Now, what happened, unfortunately, very few people know this, is that in the 19th century and in the early 20th century, a lot of these very historic boats, a lot of Benedict Arnold's boats and other boats were just dragged out of the water as souvenirs.
Pastor and his robot partner are in the business of preserving these wrecks. During the past 2 summers, they've worked to create a video document of the ships as they lie on the bottom. This is the Phoenix, one of 3 wrecks marked as an underwater state historic preserve. The video he takes will tell archaeologists how well the wreck survives its contact with sport divers.
We deliberately, as a state, as the managers, we leave the artifacts on. Sport divers like diving on sites that have everything on there. That's what makes an interesting dive site.
The Phoenix burned in 1819. Now it rests with the Lingcod, 110 feet down. It's the oldest steamship hull known, and a treasure all by itself. But off in the darkness, there may be so much more. Tom Grant, Channel 3 News, Lake Champlain.
High technology has opened up a new era of exploration beneath the waves of Lake Champlain. Side-scan sonar can map in a day what would have taken divers a year to explore. And robot divers can explore places that would test the human body. Tom Grant reports on the latest efforts to document shipwrecks.
Scuba Guides International explored one of the more sensitive shipwrecks on Lake Champlain this summer, the O.J. Walker. Patxi Pastor dispatched his robot partner into the depths. The robot is basically a camera with a motor, and it's flown by remote control.
Now with the side scan, we can cover amazing amounts of this territory and then specifically orient our studies with the robots to increase our bottom time as divers. So the technology has allowed us to really pursue things that normally wouldn't have been accessible to us.
The robot's video record will make it possible for archaeologists and historians to see the O.J. Walker without ever diving themselves. The Walker is a sailing barge, an unusual type of cargo carrier. It could sail on Lake Champlain, then lay down its mast, haul up its centerboard, and be towed through narrow canals. The O.J. Walker went down in the 1890s with a full load of bricks. There may be artifacts inside, but it's hard to tell.
Typically, in the ones that I've had a chance to dive on, you have a very large deposit of silt on the inside of the wrecks where you can actually take your arm and stick it down. It feels like brown jello, and you can't even feel the bottom in some of them. It's so deep.
Though the state may one day open up this site as an underwater historic preserve, it's hush-hush for now. That's because there may be treasure here, a treasure of history.
We consider shipwrecks of the early 20th, 19th century, and then of course the 18th century, just remarkable capsules of human history. And especially in a place such as Lake Champlain, where the waters are fresh and cold, you have just simply amazing preservation of the everyday artifacts of human life.